Good evening, everyone, again. Like I said, I am Kuhu from Alfaz. I'll give you a little introduction about Alfaz and about all of our panelists. Welcome. So, Alfaz was found not only to talk about all of these stigmatized issues in society, but start conversations around them. As we try to have these hard conversations about about the suppression of the Dalit community in India, especially that of women, it is important to listen. We're having this panel discussion. So first off, we have Miss Sanya Sagar, a writer, director, actor. She has been part of various major productions in both foreign and Indian film industry, from Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs to Mohit Suri's Malang. Miss Sagar holds strong values and principles, and nothing stops her from speaking her mind. Welcome. Next, we have Miss Shrishti, a student and an anti-caste feminist activist who fights for women's rights. Apart from being a writer, she is one of the loudest voices in social media, speaking against patriarchy, casteism, and even raising awareness about mental health. Welcome. We also have Miss Anjali, who works with the National Campaign on Dalit Human Rights. She is a feminist and a Dalit human rights activist. She is a gendered violence survivor and has been really vocal about women's issues on social media. She watches Bahujan politics closely with a feminist lens and is known for raising her concerns about Dalit women's representation in the mainstream politics. And now to introduce our moderator for today's panel discussion, we have Pratham Gupta with us. He is a part of Alfaz and he will be moderating today's discussion. So you can take on from here, Pratham.
Great. Thank you so much, Kuhu. So hi everyone, as Kuhu said, I am Pratham and I'll be moderating today's discussion. Of course, Kuhu, it was very nice of Kuhu to let me do this, and I am very honored to have this opportunity. Now, as Kuhu said, it's time for us to have the hard conversations. And we need to start listening. We need to start recognizing our privilege. And that is why today we have these three phenomenal women with us, all from the Dalit background, to help us know what we can do to help, to learn and to unlearn. That is our objective today. So to start with, I would like to ask our three panelists, what was exactly your point of view? What were your collective accumulated feelings after this wretched incident happened? What were you feeling inside?
Yeah, I'd like to start with stating a fact that happened today. So an FIR was filed in Hathras against the Bhim Army chief, and a lot of teenagers were dogged because they were taking part in raising awareness about this issue. So the Godi media, so to say, have took out episodes stating that these teenagers had links with Islamic terrorist groups. And when I read this news, me and Anjali, both of us were shaken. So whatever we say today will be a little sanitized because we are afraid of what is going to happen. And also we don't have the social capital to fight all these big, because we know where the law, who the law favors. So we'll be a little sanitized, so to say. And yeah, Anjali can take it forward.
Yeah, so this news when I saw Aaj Tak and I saw people talking about how the protesters were dangais because they were protesting against the rape that happened. I was just saddened by the fact that we as Dalits we turn dangais when we speak about atrocities that happen against us, and how suddenly we are Hindus when we protest, or when we speak about CAA and RC. So when these Delhi riots happened, we were taken consideration as Hindus, and people were favoring us, and how they have suddenly linked an Islamic extremist organization with us because we were speaking in favor of a justice, that the victim's family, or the victim who died, who was raped and murdered, should have had, without even being protested against, so yeah, Srishti and I have decided that we'll sanitize our words, and to not let ourselves end into some trouble. So maybe, yeah, please bear with us.
Okay, Sanya ma'am, please take it away.
Yeah, so you asked like what was the first of all, thank you. Like this news that calling us the ISIS just because, you know, read stuff like that. I don't have tears, I don't have anger. I'm just laughing at the, sheer misery and the sheer joke that this whole system has become. And again, nobody wants trouble. Yes, we don't have the bandwidth to protect ourselves, and with COVID there's like open robberies happening in Bandra right now. So I totally understand the fear that Anjali and Shrishti are saying, because so that's exactly what I said in my video as well. So if you talk about justice, you're done. Like they're gonna take you by the cops. The question was, when you heard this rape case that had happened again, honestly for me it was like, okay, another one in the books, and there's nobody doing anything about it. And when you ask me what are you going to talk about the murder, what can I talk about the murder, what can I talk about the rape when the evidence and everything is gone with the dead body? They have burnt it straight up. There is a meme, there's a poster which is going on about the cops. They're calling us dangai. The cops over there, what are they? Because you're seeing them, the rapist, the whole Thakur family, they have created a big pandal and they're doing like protests against the people, against the family of the girl. The brother of the girl is saying कि हमें मंदिर तक नहीं दिया था, हमें पेड़ के पास एक छोटा सा भगवान का पुतला लगाकर हम लोग पूजा करते थे, और वहां पे cops are there protecting those guys. So दंगाई तो हमें clearly पता है, and then calling us दंगाई is not going to change anything. मैंने ये चीज बचपन से देखी है, मैं लखनऊ से हूँ. एक वियर्ड सा सुपीरियोरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स है बच्चों में, क्लासरूम में आते हुए बच्चों में कह रहे हैं हम तो ठाकुर हैं, अरे हम तो ठाकुर फैमिली से. आप कुछ बोल, मैं लखनऊ से, लखनऊ में लखनऊ महोत्सव होता है. मैं ये नहीं बोल, लोग मायावती को बहुत डिस करते हैं, लेकिन जब तक मायावती रहती है ना तब तक किसी भी टाइप का रेप, किसी भी तरीके की लड़कियों के साथ कोई बेइज्जती नहीं होती है. ये चीज मैंने देखी अपनी लाइफ में. मैं वहां 18 साल रही हूँ. लखनऊ महोत्सव के टाइम में जब इनकी गवर्नमेंट नहीं रही है, ठाकुरों को इतना घमंड है, गुरूर है, लड़कियों को उन्होंने ओपनली, लखनऊ महोत्सव में ओपनली रेप हो रहा है, लड़कियों को ओपनली खींचातानी कर रही है, जिसकी न्यूज में कोई खबर नहीं होती है. हमें पता है बिकॉज हमारे छोटे मोटे लोग गए हुए हैं लखनऊ महोत्सव इज मोर लाइक अ फेट इन द सिटी दैट हैपेंस एवरी ईयर, जहाँ पे सारे हैंडलूम्स वाले सब लोग आते हैं वहां पे. और हैंडलूम वालों ने ये तक बोला है कि हमने तो नवाबियत का सुना था लखनऊ की, लेकिन इस तरीके की हरकतें हमने देखी हैं. क्यों? आप कुछ बोलोगे तो आपको बोलेंगे कि तू कहाँ से आया है. सीधे छोटी छोटी बातों पे तो वो अपनी बंदूकें निकाल देते हैं, दिखाने लगते हैं. हम लोग भी जैसे, हम तो सोशल मीडिया पे डर गए हैं कुछ बोलने से, वो लोग तो सामने आदमी कुछ बोल नहीं सकता है. So for me, it was anger mixed with, it was anger first. I actually started crying when I saw that they've taken Rahul Gandhi because वो देखने के लिए गए. So I'm like, okay, तो हम help भी नहीं कर सकते, NGO कोई वहां पे नहीं पहुंच सकती, कोई कुछ, तो क्या करें? हेल्पलेस फील होता है. और आज भी जब लोग पोस्ट कमेंट करते हैं कि आप जैसे लोग डिवाइड क्रिएट कर रहे हैं क्योंकि आप बोल रहे हैं कि आप दलित हैं, किसी के माथे पे तो नहीं लिखा. भाई आपके नाम के पीछे लिखा है ना कि आप क्या हो. हर किसी के नाम के पीछे लिखा है रिजर्वेशन. आप रिजर्वेशन की बात करके रेप के टॉपिक से नहीं डाइग्रेस हो रहे हैं. So this is ridiculous. Like, I have anger filled with emotion and now I'm ridiculed by reading all this कि ISIS कुछ नहीं होता तो ISIS का बना देते हैं. You know, it says it's the a person needs to have, you know, body. You feel diseased. Why do you feel diseased? Because nation is sitting at home, you've not gone out anywhere. Dalit people are losing motivation. People in small towns are losing motivation कि ठीक है पढ़ लिख कर भी जाएंगे, रिजर्वेशन में जाएंगे, लेकिन हम लोग को तो दबाया ही जाएगा. गांव-गांव से निकल नहीं पाते हैं बच्चे बाहर, अपने शहरों में फ्रीली नहीं घूम पाते हैं. So I just don't know. तो इसका मेरे हिसाब से तो इलाज यही है कि आप किसी को बदल नहीं सकते, आप खुद की थिंकिंग बदलिए लोगों को जिम्मेदार. It's a fashion over there, it's a trend. मनुस्मृति जो वो किताब है उसमें तो हम लोगों को, दलितों को तो ऐसे जैसे जानवरों की तरह, जैसे कैनिबलिस्टिक, मतलब कि इनको स्लेव. कल वो when I was talking Rishi, he's a activist. He talks about Dalit. He was there in my last chat, and he was saying that इनके साथ एक आदमी चाहिए रहता है, ये बिना आदमी के नहीं. जैसे हम कोई कुत्ता बिल्ली हैं, जैसे हमारे का काम नहीं शुरू कर सकते. एंड दिस इज द माइंडसेट ऑफ द पीपल. एंड सपोर्ट में भी जाते हैं फिर, क्योंकि डर लगता है लोगों को. पुलिस वाले, उनका, मैं पुलिस वालों को बुरा नहीं बोल रही हूँ, लेकिन उनके ऊपर जिस तरीके का प्रेशर बनता है, सो it's saddening. It makes me mad. I don't know what to do about it.
I'm noticing Srishti wants to say something from some time now. So, ma'am, please.
Not really, but I'd say something that all three of us who are speaking, we are privileged in some sense. So we cannot talk about all Dalit women as a collective, because something tells me that a case like Hathras cannot happen to us, because there's some sort of class privilege that we are able to express ourselves on this platform. And we cannot speak for every Dalit woman, because I know that a lot of Dalit women face even dire consequences. So just making sure that people understand that we are just speaking our heart out. That's it.
Of course, ma'am. So now, Miss Anya, let's start with you. So you said that you posted a video a couple days ago which got quite a few views. And in that you said, and I quote, "It's not a woman-centric." And now people are still failing to believe and asking questions like, why does caste matter? It was a gender-based violence. Why does caste matter? Why are you bringing caste into this? What would be your reply to them?
My reply to that is, go watch the videos that are there online. There are a lot of smaller channels who have gone and managed to reach the parents, and they're interviewing the brothers and the parents. Even before I watched that video, somebody very kind sent it to me. Even before that, I was talking to somebody, and I was like, it is not so cute कि नहीं आया उसका rape करने उस दिन के लिए. The family was facing trauma, saying कि तुम लोगों को लगता है ये उसी दिन हुआ है. वो 4 फैमिली उस गांव में, उनमें से एक इनकी चमार होगी. ये उनके यहाँ नहीं जा सकते, एक घाट पे नहीं बैठ सकते, एक एरिया में घूम नहीं सकते हैं. अब उस ठाकुर के लड़के का मन आ गया इस लड़की पे, वो छेड़ रहा था उसको, हर आए दिन छेड़ता था. इसके बाप ने जाके बात करी, उसने बोला कि प्लीज आप मत छेड़ो, मेरी बेटी की शादी नहीं होगी. तो उसने क्या बोला, उसने कहा कि तो क्यों, तेरे बाप का है क्या, मैं जिसको भी देखूंगा. उसके बाद उस दिन भी, जिस दिन ये केस हुआ है, उस दिन भी वो अपनी गाय चराने आया उसके तो वो लोग कॉन्स्टेंटली उसको तंग कर रहे थे. फादर बीइंग द फादर वाज गोइंग एंड टॉकिंग अबाउट इट. In reaction, what is it? I've spoken about it. Rape is dominance. It is the way of showing power on a woman and that family. देखा, अच्छा ज्यादा बोल रहा है, अब देख. So it is, how are you saying that this is not a caste issue? और अगर आप बोल रही तो आप अंधे हो, आप देखते नहीं हो. Are you really that dumb that you cannot see it? And like there are people with the same mindset, the people who can even see that. ठीक है, मान लिया अगर ये किसी और कास्ट की होती, ब्राह्मण होती लड़की या जो भी होती, पुलिस वाले उसकी बॉडी जलाते नहीं जलाते ना, बिना पूछे या कुछ भी करे. अगर पंडित की लड़की थी, चलो मान लो ठाकुर उससे बड़ा है या जो उसके पास ज्यादा पैसा है, उसके पास ज्यादा ताकत है, पंडित की किसी बेटी का करा होता तो पुलिस वाले खुद ही 2 बार सोचे कि नहीं, हाँ, बिकॉज पंडित वो सोचते नहीं भगवान से हमें पाप चढ़ेगा अगर हमने पंडित की बेटी को जला दिया. सोचते कि नहीं सोचते? चमार की कोई वैल्यू नहीं है क्या? सॉरी अबाउट दैट. चमार की क्या कोई वैल्यू नहीं है? हम लोगों को जानवर जैसा बना के रखा है, जानवर जैसा. और आप ठीक है, Shrishti pointed out something that we come from a fair enough privileged background. I come from a privileged background, from a city in Lucknow. Even my father has told me this when I was growing up. शादी करना तो अपने उसमें कर, अपने बिरादरी में करना. क्यों? मैं इंग्लिश मीडियम पढ़ी लिखी लड़की हूँ, मैं अपनी बिरादरी में क्यों फ्यूचर कंफर्टेबल होगा? प्रिविलेज बैकग्राउंड्स में भी इस तरीके का डिस्क्रिमिनेशन होता है. मेरे पास लड़कियां आई हैं जिन्होंने मेरे को बोला है मेरे ससुराल वालों ने मेरा नाम राशन कार्ड पे नहीं डाला है. मुझे अगर प्रमोशन मिलता है मेरे काम पे तो लोग मुझे बोलते हैं अच्छा ये कोटा वाली है. तुमने स्पोर्ट्स कोटा वाले को बोला कुछ, तुमने एनआरआई कोटा वाले को बोला कुछ, तुमने क्रिश्चियन कोटा वाले को बोला कुछ. तो दलित के पास थोड़ी सी, अगर एक बेचारों के पास एक वेपन है रिजर्वेशन, वो भी किसी को नहीं जमता है. So it is a mindset. Now, how are you saying that this is a, or out of whatever statistics that I have seen, and they did it, if you want, I can share the thing over here also. It says the crimes, majority crimes happening in every state, उसमें से 80-90% दलित के अगेंस्ट ही होते हैं. क्योंकि क्या होता है, स्मॉल टाउन्स में बिरादरियां होती हैं, ठीक है. ठाकुर की एक बिरादरी होगी, वो कहीं ना कहीं से कनेक्टेड होंगे. पंडितों की एक बिरादरी होगी, दे आर ऑल कनेक्टेड विद ईच अदर. तो कोई अपने रिश्तेदार का तो जाके रेप करेगा नहीं, तो बचे कौन? और बिकॉज दीज पीपल के नॉट रेज अ वॉइस, वो ऐसे खड़ी होगी लड़की, उसको छेड़े होंगी तो वो क्या कर पाएगी? सो एनी गर्ल, मैं तो बताती नहीं, some girls have faced abuse, like physical and mental abuse from the boyfriends or the boyfriend's family. So I'm like, she's like, what can I do? I was like, you know what? Play a sport, become strong, stay fit. So somebody is coming at you, you give it back to them. Women, I think women need to become stronger. It is really not a, और divide and rule नहीं है ये divide and rule. हर तरीके से divide and rule कर रहे हैं. So that's my take on this. I clearly think that they don't think this is a caste thing.
Ms. Srishti, Ms. Anjali, what are your says on the same?
Just to make sure that even if we come from a place of privilege, does not mean that we don't face caste-based discrimination. Our parents don't go through the caste-based discrimination. One of the earliest thing that I can tell you is a normal Savarna woman would grow up listening to stories about their heritage and lineage and stuff like that. What I grew up listening to were stories of what my mom faced, what women in my village faced. One of the earliest stories that my mother told me is how, when she was 8, she went to her hometown in Bihar, the village in Bihar, and she came to know that 2 of her aunts had died by suicide. So they had jumped into the well. And why they did that is because they were working in the field, and upper caste men had raped them, and then they were so humiliated that they jumped in the village well. So these are the stories that I grew up listening to, and it causes it causes generational trauma. The trauma is transferred through generations. The things that my father faced, my mother faced, everything, and it is so closely related to mental health also. Most of our mental healths are in shambles. Like, there was a time when I have been to a psychiatrist, a therapist, and like any doctor that is possible. I've gone through each one of them, because our identity is so much related to what we face, and it directly affects our mental health. Again, now, when this news came up, me and Anjali, we are very good friends, just to say. Me and Anjali, we cried the whole night, and the next day I was feeling a little better. Then Balrampur case also came up, and the Balrampur case was also very brutal, because the woman was injected with poison and stuff. So whenever we read about stuff like these happening to our women, our sisters, it creates a very hard impact on us, and it really makes very difficult for us to function even. And then you log on to the internet, and then there are Savarna people who deny the role of caste in such incidents, whereas there has been so many evidences. I would like to throw some statistics. So every 15 minutes, a crime is committed against a Dalit person in India. 10 Dalit women are raped every day, according to a data by the Data Intelligence Unit. So you can see that caste is very much there and thriving. Like Sanya said, it is in our surnames, it is in the matrimonial pages, it is everywhere. So caste has a role to play. Again, the Savarna Parishad and the Thakurs, they came in support of the rapists, the murderers, just like what happened in the Kathua rape case of the 8-year-old, when Hindu groups had come out in support of the rapist, when an 8-year-old girl was raped in a temple. So we see how dynamics of communalism and caste play a huge role in such cases. So yeah.
Miss Anjali?
Yeah, continuing with Srishti, I would like to mention that we do not belong to a very urban place. We belong to places which are not rural as well as not urban. So I belong to a place which is highly dominated by the Jat community as well as the Brahmin community, and we realize how they suppress us with sexual violence and harassment as a tool, so that their caste supremacy and their dominance is still there. So whenever a Dalit person or a Dalit woman challenges and objectifies caste supremacy, it is often seen uh, as uh, as disobeying the cultural practices and disobeying the scriptures. And I think when this Hathras rape case happened, it was highly. I think it was very painful for us to even address and acknowledge such issues, since we are Dalit women and we know what we go through every day, the caste discrimination and seen as objects. So even today, if I talk about an issue that happened today, when I was coming to my flat, I saw 4 men who were just coming towards the lift, and I was so horrified if they were like regular men, या फिर वो कोई पुलिस वाले थे जो civil कपड़ों में थे, and if they're going to either harass me or to kidnap me or to just arrest me. So that pain and that that fear is always with us. Nobody can realize the sort of fear that we live in. We are just breathing. I think we are not living. This society has made us stand in a place that is indignified in all the manners. It is very indignified. We are not socially well off. We're not very well off as in economic terms. And I believe, as Srishti would also agree, that our caste name is often used as an abuse, as a slur, and we cannot even speak about it. We cannot even call it out because we are so horrified कि अगर उनको पता लगेगा, so they will just ostracize us. We will be just boycotted, and we'll be further harassed because we belong to that particular caste. Although there are more than 50-60 castes that belong to the scheduled caste, still we belong to that one particular caste जिसका caste name सबको पता है, and everybody will abuse that caste. So we as Dalit women
Yeah, I think their audio is on.
Yeah. So we as Dalit women, we understand on what social and economic platform we stand at. और हमें पता है कि हमारे पास कोई बेनिफिट्स नहीं है, कोई प्रिविलेज नहीं है. अभी हम कुछ बोलेंगे तो कल को हमारे ऊपर कोई केस लगेगा और हम जेल के अंदर होंगे. हम लोग अपनी जस्टिस के लिए, हम लोग अपने सेफ्टी के लिए, हम अपनी सिक्योरिटी के लिए हम लोग कुछ नहीं बोल सकते हैं. So these people who were from upper caste, from that village, they had been harassing multiple women in that village and nobody spoke about it. I want to question one thing. Why does a woman has to be either harassed or murdered or raped for her issues to be taken seriously? Why was the woman even killed? Why was the woman even raped? Everybody knew that the Thakurs were harassing. So I read an article which mentioned that the Thakurs and the Brahmins of that village of Hathras, where that incident took place, they were dumping their garbage in front of the Dalit community's houses. Why was no action taken against it? Was that not inhumane? Was that not questioning their dignity? Why was no action taken against that? Why did they wait for that girl to be raped and brutally murdered? And even after that happened, the government, the police, they hired a PR firm so that this doesn't reach the international platforms and their image can be saved. Why did we wait for that? And even now when we are talking, there would have been another Dalit woman that would have been raped, such as what the statistics says. What are we waiting for? And when we talk about this issue in particular, there were no upper caste people. So when other incidents happened, I saw so many upper caste people posting statuses and speaking out, and even for Sushant Singh Rajput, which I have huge sympathy for. But was it more brutal than what happened with this girl? Did nobody speak up for this person just because she was a Dalit, or because her name was made public? Nobody, no victim's name was made public other than this girl. Why such indignity is always forwarded towards Dalit women, and nobody speaks about it? Nobody. Yeah, so I am forwarding it to Sanya. Maybe she has something to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I think the topic is not cool enough, you know. The topic is not awesome enough. Like, oh, not everybody. There was a blackout releasing whoever, you know, release this person or justice for this one, kick patriarchy and whatnot.
Yeah.
Why is this? Why? Because it's not a cool topic. And you know, I've tried to have a conversation with this about friends in Bombay. They're like, अरे तू चमार है, लगती नहीं है. Besides that, they're like, अरे यहाँ पे तो नहीं होता. अब हमारे यहाँ पे तो ज़्यादा बात नहीं होती है ना. तुम्हें पता है तो why you, and you know one thing which you pointed out that the वो 4 आदमी लिफ्ट की तरफ आ रहे थे and मुझे डर लग गया कि कहीं ये पुलिस वाले. And the fact is that हाँ हमें सिखाया जाता है, वो आई हमारे पुरखों से आई है कि तुम डर के रहो भाई, क्योंकि हमारे पुरख डर के रहे. तो हम उस लड़की के भी माँ बाप से पूछा कि आप जब कर रहे थे छेड़खानी तो आपने जाके पुलिस में क्यों नहीं बोला? तो उन्होंने बोला कि एक तो हमारी लड़की की बदनामी होगी, पर दूसरी चीज पुरखों ने कभी इनके अगेंस्ट नहीं बोला तो हम क्यों बोलेंगे. तो दूसरी चीज है, वो बाबा भीमराव अंबेडकर भी बोलते थे ये बात कि real freedom of a person is the freedom of mind. When you are free from any kind of fear, that is the real freedom of a person to live freely. It is the lower caste people, it is us, and like Rishi over here said that call those as dominant caste. Yes, the dominant castes have dominated us to the point that we live in a fear. Even to not be sure, like I was told that मत बताना ज्यादा, किसी को लिख कर आ जाना लेकिन किसी को बताना मत अपनी का. क्यों मैं नहीं बताऊं, मैं तो सबको बताऊंगी. And that 12th class incident when that girl said that, अरे wow, I'm so proud of you that you said it like that. She's also in my class, she's my age. उसके घर में कुछ तो बात होती होगी जिसको ये पता है कि ये बात को एक्सेप्ट करना बहुत बड़ी बात है. तो जब घर घर में इस तरीके की बातें हो रही हैं, so this is the mindset, this is the thinking. Now people are like Black Lives Matter. काला चमार को काला ही होता है ना, चमार वही तो है ना लॉजिक, इसी की वजह से तो. No, why are you now not fighting for the chamar topic? So my question, I just feel like this topic is not cool enough. And how many people must be there in the industry who are like that, but they're not opening up for whatever reasons that they're not opening up.
Yeah, so I have something to add on to this. So there are a lot of friends of mine who spoke for Nirbhaya and who spoke for a lot of rape cases, but they did not speak for Manisha. Why? Because they were very afraid कि अगर हम दलित के लिए बोलेंगे तो कोई हमें question तो नहीं करेगा कि अरे तुम दलित हो क्या? You know, so they are very afraid कि society के अंदर हमारा caste privilege question तो नहीं हो जाएगा. So they don't, even in the 21st century, even in 2020, they don't want to give up their caste supremacy. So yeah, I believe that a lot of upper caste feminists, even they did not speak of the caste, particularly of the victim, because they were very afraid कि कोई हमारी caste identity को तो question नहीं करेगा. And nobody wants it. Nobody wants to be called a Dalit, nobody wants to be called a Chamar, or nobody wants to be called a Bhangi, to use all these words. I know it is very offensive to use all these words, but we as Dalits, we know how it feels for us to hear our caste names as slurs or as abuse. So when they want to say कि कुछ चीज बहुत ugly है, they often say it के अरे चमार है क्या, चमार लग रहा है, चमारिन लग रही है. So what is all this? Are you even sensitive enough to acknowledge कि you are actually using a caste name to portray something as ugly? So it is very bad, I think. Yeah, I'm forwarding it to Srishti. Srishti, do you have something?
Yeah, I have one thing to say. The difference between the 2012 Delhi Nirbhaya rape case and the Hathras case, there's one point that I would like everybody to ponder upon, is that I don't know how Nirbhaya looks. I don't know what her real name is till now. I don't know. If I search, maybe I'll get it, but I don't know. But the Hathras victims' photos have been plastered everywhere. Her name is public. Her photos were public. BJP IT cell head Amit Malviya posted a video of the victim crying, and NCW did not take notice. Whereas it is against the law to post a video of a rape victim, and he did that. So the law is so lopsided that I don't know what can be said. He broke the law by sharing that video. So this is a point where we can see how this case is different from the Nirbhaya case that happened. So, yeah.
It's also called defamation, right? Because आप जो victim होता है उनका actual face या उनका नाम ऐसे नहीं डाल सकते, तो भाई value नहीं है ना. We are not valued. And जो बोलते हैं कि it doesn't exist, तो मुझे बताओ हिंदुइज्म में हमारे को क्यों अलग से करके हम तीन जो वर्ण है, क्षत्रिय, वैश्य, ब्राह्मण, हमें अलग से दिया है ना. दलित मतलब अलग आदमी, कटा हुआ. तो कैसे आप बोल सकते हो? और ये ऐसी, और जब कोई बात करे, एक तो ये कि भाई दलित की बात आती है तो लगता है कि अरे हमसे ना पूछने लगे कि तुम दलित हो या नहीं. काफी मेरी भी कजिन्स हैं जिन्होंने अपने सरनेम चेंज करके रह रहे हैं कई स्टेट्स पर, और जो नहीं खुल के बात नहीं कर. मुझे बचपन में चुप करा दिया जाता था, चुप कर, ऐसे मत बात कर. रही बात चमार और खटिक की, मेरे फ्रेंड्स ने बोला है और भंगी लग रही है, ए चमार, ऐसी मजाक में एकदम से तो बुरा लगता है. बट आई रिएक्टेड, आई वाज हाँ मैं एक्चुअली हूँ चमारन, बोल अभी क्या करेगा, बट आई एक्चुअली एम. So either you start, I think people, not everybody can own up like we can, because of the comfort of the friends or the, the parents that they're supportive. Not everybody can. Yeah, I don't know how and when will this change, when we actually can be like openly talking about this.
As you said, until and unless it becomes cool enough.
Yeah, it's just not cool enough. We're gonna make it cool, man. Come on, we're gonna make it cool.
It is cool. Just people don't realize it.
No, cool for them as well. Because बिना दलित की एक बात होगी, दूसरी बात अगर कभी दलित की बात करो तो बिना रिजर्वेशन के कोई डिबेट नहीं खत्म हो सकती. मेरा ये क्वेश्चन है कि ये रिजर्वेशन की बात है क्या? ये रिजर्वेशन एंट्रेंस एग्जाम के टाइम में उसका रेप हुआ है. This is not about reservation. This is about a rape that has happened to a small caste, छोटी कास्ट की लड़की के साथ एक रेप हुआ है, और ये होता रहता है. आप अपने बॉम्बे दिल्ली के मस्त घरों में बैठकर आपको नहीं पता है कि उन रिमोट एरियाज में क्या चल रहा है. मेरे घर पे आए हैं लोग मदद मांगने की, मेरा जमींदार हमें बहुत पीट रहा है, दीदी हमको बहुत पीट रहा है, माली लोग, ये लोग. क्यों जमादार का बेटा सिर्फ पॉटी उठाएगा? क्यों सीवर में जाके काम करेगा, नाली का काम करेगा? क्यों जमादार का बेटा कोई और काम नहीं कर सकता? पढ़ा क्यों नहीं सकता अगर पढ़ के आया है तो?
Okay, now let's move on to the next segment, and this basically focuses on class and caste. Now, Miss Srishti, this question is posed to you. So I think just a few hours ago, you tweeted a clipping of the NDTV news channel, which reported the Hathras incident. And you wrote, and I quote, "If you can mention the caste of the victim, Why can't you spell out the caste of the people who killed her? It's caste, not class, which provides the perpetrators with impunity. Can you talk about the essential meaning of this tweet and the importance of differentiation between this class and caste?
So in that video, the journalist, she says a Dalit woman was raped by 4 upper class men. So my question is, how does class has to play any role in this scenario? You have to say that 4 upper caste men did that, because caste dynamic is very evident in that case. So that is what I meant. And again, like I said, class and caste are always intermixed, and people tend to think that is rich, then they would not face any caste discrimination, which is entirely, it is a fallacy. Because like I said, if India is so open about caste and everything, then why is it so that 95% of the marriages are intercaste marriages? How is it so that there are things called honor killings? I don't agree with the term honor killings, just to, yeah, so where people are killed because they marry somebody out of their caste. So if these things are still so prevalent, then we can't say that caste has gone, and class does nothing, because my parents, my entire family still continue to face such things. I'll tell you one example. My aunt, my chachi, is not Indian, she's Romanian, but she's married to my chacha. And when she's Romanian, but people ask her caste. So even a white woman would be asked her caste because she is married to a Dalit man, or because, and again, like all of us have we have neutral surnames, so you cannot tell what caste we are in. So they would ask you, what is your name, why is your surname like that, and things like that. Again, when I came to Delhi for my education, one thing I saw, that caste pride was something very prevalent. Everybody used to be proud of the caste that they are from. They had traditions that they were proud of. So again, like I said, class, and again, like my friends in Delhi, they have been very explicitly told by their family that they cannot mingle with anybody from Dalit community or Adivasi community, because that stigma is there. Again, I was also asked about my caste from the people that I was looking for when I was looking for accommodation, and this has happened with my friends also. My friend Namrata, who might be listening, she also, whenever she used to go out and look for PGs, we were always asked about our caste. So it is it is still thriving in the capital cities. Then you can't say that that class transcends anything. Yeah, class provides us with a little bit of insulation, because we are protected in some sense, but not entirely. Yeah.
Sanya ma'am, what do you have to say about this class and caste case scenario?
क्लास से वो तो नहीं आ जाती ना, अक्ल और अवेयरनेस नहीं आ जाती ना. तो शी इज कंप्लीटली राइट अबाउट इट. क्लास डजंट डिफाइन एनीथिंग. For sure in smaller towns, छोटी class is your socio-economic background, right? तो इन छोटी टाउन में, स्मॉल टाउन में तो ऑब्वियसली छोटी क्लास छोटी कास्ट, क्योंकि वो कमा ही नहीं सकते हैं. बट अदर देन दैट, जो क्लासी नहीं, बट जो क्लास जिनका अच्छा क्लास है सिटीज वगैरह में, उन लोगों का, पर वो दिखाते तो वो छोटी हरकतें ही है ना जब उनकी कास्ट की बात आती है. जैसे उसने इंसिडेंट बताया कि हमारे पेरेंट्स पे भी खेलते हैं. आप चले जाइए छोटे टाउन्स में, आपको घुसने नहीं देंगे, वो किचन में नहीं जाने देंगे. वो आप कभी डिनर पे जाइए, आप नोटिस करेंगे कि वो कुछ सेपरेट ही उनकी अलग प्लेट्स लगेंगी जो उसके ले जाएंगी. सो दे वोंट से इट, दे वोंट शो इट, दे विल सर्टेनली डू इट. सेकेंडली, आई फील लाइक ये जो क्लास और कास्ट को कंपेयर कर दिया है ना, इसकी वजह से हमें बड़ी प्रॉब्लम होती है. कुछ रिजर्वेशन में प्रॉब्लम होती है. फिर बोलते हैं अच्छा तुम दलित हो लेकिन तुम अच्छी फैमिली से आते हो तो तुम क्यों रिजर्वेशन ले रहे हो. भाई उसकी चॉइस है. ये मैं कल भी बात कर रही थी. आप एज इट्स अ चॉइस टू बी अ फैट और अ थिन पर्सन, इट्स योर पर्सनल चॉइस व्हाट बॉडी टाइप यू वांट. इट्स योर पर्सनल चॉइस whether you want to take reservation or not. हर बच्चा नहीं होता है स्कॉलर, हर बच्चा नहीं रगड़ता है अपने 90-80 मार्क्स, कोई अपने किसी और बेनिफिट से जाता है, स्पोर्ट्स बेनिफिट से जाता है, कोई दिखाता है अच्छा मैं आर्ट में मैं अच्छा हूं तो ये मेरी आर्ट है, ये करिकुलम एक्टिविटीज में ले लो। तो सब अब जरूरी तो नहीं कि हर बच्चा रगड़ के दूध हल्दी दूध पे पी के वो कंपटीशन कर करके 99% ले आएगा एग्जाम में। और जरूरी नहीं है कि हर घर में उतना कंफर्ट हो या उतने 100 ट्यूटर लगा दियो। कोई गरीब बच्चा जिसके घर पे नहीं है, वो जो स्कूल में पढ़कर आता है वही पढ़ के एग्जाम देने जाता है। तो आप सिर्फ ये मत देखो कि रिजर्वेशन इसको लग रहा है, आप ये देखो आदमी वो जो गांव के स्कूल से वहां तक पहुंचा है कैसे पहुंचा है। पहली बात तो कितना लड़ झगड़ के उसके माँ बाप ने क्या क्या झेला है जब वो यहाँ जाकर पहुंचा है। स्कॉलरशिप वालों से झगड़ा कर लो आप, क्यों तू ज्यादा पढ़ के अच्छा है अब तेरी वेवर हो रही है तेरी, उससे क्यों नहीं झगड़ा कर रहे आप।
Miss Anjali, what do you have to say?
Yeah, so even when somebody is belonging to an upper class but from a lower caste family, that supremacy doesn't go. For instance, I'll share an incident with you. So like I told, I belong to a place where the area is dominated by Jats and Brahmins. So there is this person from an OBC caste, although they are not from very upper caste and very socially privileged background. They belong to this upper caste, and this person was working as a house help somewhere. But she was an OBC, and we, being economically well off and from a relatively better economic background, were well off from this person. She denied drinking water and denied drinking tea at our place because she belonged to a comparatively upper caste from ours. So if you say that so if you're saying कि क्लास जो है आपको एश्योर करती है कि आपके साथ कास्ट डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं होगा, it is false. Even if you're from an upper class, even if you're from a very rich background, you will still be discriminated against because you're a Dalit. You are born a Dalit. So after that, you get all these paisa and family background, ghar, gaadi, bangla. You get that after all this. You're born a Dalit first. When you go somewhere, people will be asking your caste first and then ask you what your parents do. So this class relevance is nowhere is irrelevant to our topic of caste. Another incident that I would like to share is that when I was staying in Delhi during my graduation days, I was looking for a flat for myself. So I went to this broker, and when he was filling out all these informations, he was asking me all these details of mine, and he asked me, what is your so initially he told me that he has a lot of flats to show me and everything. So I said yeah. So he told me कि अपना details बता दीजिए, मैं fill out कर लेता हूँ. And then this person was Jain, to mention. He was from the Jain community, and this person asked me कि अच्छा आपका caste क्या है? So I got stuck. I was shook. I don't know. I because I was young enough to not realize कि हमारा caste background क्या है, कि हमारा caste heritage क्या है, हमारे lineage क्या है. So I got very scared. So when he asked me once more, I said I belong to the SC caste. So he said okay. He mentioned all this and he took me to show all these flats that were there, and I cannot even begin to mention what sort of flats did he show me. Even rats or animals would not want to live there. He showed me that kind of flat, and that too one. So previously when he thought I was an upper caste, he said he has a lot of flats to show me. They are furnished and they have all this furniture and beautiful kitchens, modular kitchens, and good everything. But when I told I was in SC, this person, he showed me a flat which was, it looked like bhutia, to be honest. It looked like ghosts live there. So caste and class, it has, I think it doesn't have relevance. But when we talk about Dalit women, we are suppressed by 3 layers. We are suppressed by caste, we are suppressed by class, and we are सप्रेस्ड बाय प्रिविलेज. हमारे पास कोई प्रिविलेज नहीं है. अगर हमारे साथ कल को कुछ भी हो जाता है तो हमें ये समझ नहीं आता हम किसके पास जाएं. For instance, when I was previously threatened to be doxxed on Twitter, there is this one account who was threatening me continuously that I can read your chats, I can see your photos, I can see what you're talking about with your boyfriend and everything this person was telling me. And when I thought of filing a cyber complaint against this person, I was actually scared. Number one, I was a Dalit woman. Number two, I did not belong to an upper class family. And number three, my political affiliation. So we are very scared in these times. हमारे पास कुछ नहीं है, हमारे पास पता नहीं, हमें पता नहीं है हमारे पास कल को कुछ होगा तो हम कहाँ जाएंगे, किसके पास शिकायत करने जाएंगे, हम किसको कुछ कहने जाएंगे, कौन हमारी बात सुनेगा. क्योंकि एक तो हम इस इंडिया के कल्चरल हायरार्की में हम लोग बहुत ही नीचे आते हैं. नीचे क्या, हम लोग इतना नीचे आते हैं कि हमारी कास्ट नेम जो है वो अब्यूज है. दूसरा ये है कि हमारी पॉलिटिकल एफिलिएशन जो है वो गवर्नमेंट के साथ कुछ तालमेल नहीं खाती है. तो मुझे तो अब हम जिस पोजीशन में आ चुके हैं, मुझे ये समझ नहीं आता कि हम घर से बाहर पैर निकालते हैं तो हम घर में सेफ्टी के साथ पहुंचेंगे या नहीं पहुंचेंगे. जो हाथरस में उस विक्टिम के साथ हुआ, if I wonder कि कल को अगर वो मेरी फैमिली के साथ होगा तो I cannot even imagine my family facing these same things that family faced. Right? I cannot even imagine my mother crying that way. My mother actually mourning and thinking कि मुझे मेरी बेटी का dead body भी नहीं मिला कि हम लोग उसका last जो है rituals कर सकें. तो अगर ऐसे सिचुएशन में हम लोग दलित्स आ गए हैं और उसके बाद हम अपने लिए जस्टिस और सिक्योरिटी डिमांड करते हैं और गवर्नमेंट हमें दंगाई बोलती है, तो मुझे नहीं पता हमें कहाँ जाना चाहिए.
Okay. So ma'am, next question is to you only. And then obviously I'll open it to the other two panelists. So ma'am, you have been famously vocal about Dalit women rights and especially their representation in mainstream politics. So now the government's actions regarding to this particular case have been contentious and contradictory, to say the least. So moreover, the police is now working on an international plot, which was basically, they say that it was made to defame the UP government. So keeping all of this in mind, can you tell us how politics comes into play into suppression of Dalit women? I understand that you want to keep it sanitized, no names, just basic politics. Ma'am, you're muted. Yeah.
You did not mention the name. Who is this question posed to?
I said Miss Anjali itself. This question is posed.
Yeah, so I don't know how should I start speaking about it without even mentioning the name of the people who are behind it. But it's very apparent. I think everybody knows who we are talking about. Everybody knows how since this government has come into rule and how Dalits' lives have become very tough. I think especially as Dalit women, we know कि upper caste के अंदर when it wasn't as much in before 2014 जितना अब हो गया है. 2014 से पहले इतना नहीं था उनके अंदर, लेकिन अब तो ये लोग जो है बहुत खुल के सामने आ रहे हैं कि अरे हम ब्राह्मण हैं, अरे हम जाट हैं, अरे हम ठाकुर हैं, अरे हम इस कास्ट से हैं, अरे हम उस कास्ट से हैं, सो हम तुम्हारे साथ ये करेंगे. एंड इनको अनेबल करने वाले लोग कौन है? इनको अनेबल करने वाले लोग जो हैं वो रूलिंग गवर्नमेंट से हैं, और अगर रूलिंग गवर्नमेंट से नहीं है तो वो किसी ना किसी तरह से रूलिंग गवर्नमेंट के साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। अभी जो है हम सब ने देखा होगा, आई थिंक काफी सर्कुलेट हुआ है ये पोस्ट, जहां पे गवर्नमेंट ने एक पीआर फर्म हायर की है ताकि वो उनको इस एलिगेशंस और इन केसेस से बचा सकें, ताकि ये जो केस है वो इंटरनेशनल मीडिया कवरेज में ना जाए। तो ऐसा क्या हुआ है कि हमारी सरकार इतनी डर रही है? क्या हमारी सरकार ये एक्नॉलेज करने से डरती है कि इस देश के अंदर हर रोज 10 दलित महिलाओं का रेप होता है? या क्या हमारी सरकार ये एक्नॉलेज करने से डर रही है कि हमारी कंट्री के अंदर अभी भी जो कास्ट सिस्टम है वो इतना ज्यादा परसिस्टेंट है कि हम उसको निकालने से डर रहे हैं? हमारी सरकार असल में डर किस चीज से रही है? क्या उनको ये डर लग रहा है कि अगर इंटरनेशनल मीडिया में ये बात पहुंच गई तो उनकी गद्दी उनसे छिन जाएगी? खैर वो तो नहीं होने वाला है आई थिंक, लेकिन फिर भी हम अपने सोशल स्ट्रक्चर को क्वेश्चन तो कर सकते हैं। So yeah, this is all what I have to say about this government. Other than that, I think I need to sanitize a bit more, otherwise Srishti is going to scold me very bad. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll move on to Sanya ma'am. Sanya ma'am, your thoughts.
You have asked a major trick question there, buddy. It's like this is gonna stir up a lot of
Ma'am, as we said, it is time to have the hard conversations.
It is not just Dalits. I'll also say it's also the Muslims, which happened. So it's anything which is not them. If this is not them, then they're garbage. Like if you are not, this is a different community. I can't even begin to. I was talking to my maids, right? And my buys, like last year, whatever, during the election or whatever. So I'm like, अच्छा कहाँ किसको वोट देना है, किसको क्या करना है? अरे ये लोग हमारे, you know, when I say ये लोग, right? ये लोग हमारे गणपति पे बहुत अच्छा सा सब कर देते हैं, you know, सब करवाते हैं. रिलीजन के नाम पर गरीब लोगों को खरीद लिया है. जो ये बोलेंगे रिलीजन भगवान के नाम पे, और वो कर रहे हैं. उनको पता है कौन से स्पेशल डेज हैं, उन स्पेशल डेज पे कर दो तो हमें ये वोट बैंक मिल जाएगा. So this is all tricks, man. I'm telling you, and like how I don't know what to say, because when I start saying, then a lot of other things will open up, and then they open up like, where does she live? I'm gonna send somebody to her house, you know. And I'm scared to say it, but which is true. It's तो superiority आ गई है, because जो पहले नहीं होता था, पहले भी होती थी ये सारी चीजें, इतने खुल के नहीं करते थे. वही मैंने बोला ना, जब मायावती की गवर्नमेंट होती थी यूपी में, तब रेप बंद हो जाते थे. जहां वो चली गई तो सब आ गए, MP, MLA के बच्चे स्कूल्स में जा रहे हैं, सबके पास पिस्तौल है, गने हैं. It's like, it's what is it, straight out of Compton, man. So they'll just flash a gun at you and they're like, I've got this, man, who are you to say anything to me? And that's what's happening, because they have that support, right? Because unka koi na koi rishtedar is very core in the system, and then they're like, whatever we do, we'll get out of it very easily. So it's the power that they've got, and they have. Well, clearly, that's why there has been a question about this, that Gandhi has questioned, Rahul Gandhi is asking for the resignation of the, you know, the CM. I'm so scared of recognize it, you know. The CM has asked to resign from the post. Obviously, now, because can you imagine how can a cop, like, this is called messing with the evidence, right? Messing with the evidence. No cop will have the audacity to mess up with the evidence. Evidence is the body of the victim, the rape victim. That's the evidence which they burned. How can they do that when they don't have that support from behind? कि नहीं तुम करो, हम देख रहे हैं. ऑर्डर आया ना कहीं से, कहाँ से आए हैं ऑर्डर? तो अब मैं इससे ज्यादा और क्या बोल सकती.
That was perfectly sanitized. Okay. Srishti ma'am, do you have anything to say? Would you like to say anything?
So essentially, I'm a Dalit feminist. I recognize as a Dalit feminist. But I also want to take this opportunity to say that Dalit feminism has to be enlarged, and a lot of other issues has to be taken in account, and it does not only have to be about Dalit women. Some of the issues that has to be taken in account are the plight of Kashmiri women, the plight of the trans community, the plight of the LGBTQ plus community, and the Adivasi people who lose their lands to crony capitalists. And I was just talking to one of my friends, Kanmani. She's a trans woman, and she told me some things that shook me up, and I would like to share this with you all. So, yeah. She said that during the COVID times, the trans community are facing an unprecedented loss in employment, because their employment was already seasonal, like dancing, sex work, etc. And that was their only source of income. But with COVID, it has affected them, and no employment has been assured to them. And so these are some of the issues that they are facing. There are a lot of other issues. So we have to take in account all these issues together, and that is what Dalit feminism is for me. And if all of us are not liberated, none of us are liberated. That would be my ending note. Yeah.
Perfectly well said, ma'am. Okay, so this is my last open question to all three of you in whatever order you choose to go. So it's very simple. What is the message that you want to give to each and every one of us here who might go and spread the message, and how can we help? How can we help? How can we spread the message? What to learn, what to unlearn? That's basically my question. Whoever wants to begin can.
Okay, I'll start. Just listen to us. Follow us on Twitter. Just listen to us. I think we make sense most of the time, and I think we make the most sense. I'll be very honest, because I have seen the feminist movement and the left-wing movement in India, and I think they have certain caste problems in terms of representation and everything that they need to deal with. So I think the most progressive section of women in India are Dalit women, plain. So let's just listen to us, all of us. Yeah, that's it.
Sanya ma'am or Anjali ma'am? Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just want to end it up with this small message that please don't think that patriarchy only exists among upper caste people or among society as a whole, because patriarchy is there everywhere. It's everywhere. So I would like to add one thing. When I was there in this protest that took place 2-3 days ago at Jantar Mantar, I went there enthusiastically. I was thinking कि अरे बहुत बड़ा होगा, ये होगा, और there'll be a lot of women. बहुत सारे लोग बोल रहे होंगे, बहुत सारी औरतें होंगी, बहुत सारी दलित women जो हैं, they'll be speaking about their rights. I went there with all these placards and everything, and I returned disappointed. I returned disappointed because I'm not going to name it, but everybody knows who I'm talking about. This one party that we have a lot of expectations from, this one person was there in his signature style. I'm saying this signature style because Dalit people and Bahujan people who have been following him knows what I'm talking about. This one person was there standing upon his car and waving Samvidhan and everything. But this one person was not, and I am being very blatant about it because it hurts me. It hurts me to realize that Dalit women are not being given space even among Dalit men and Bahujan parties and Bahujan politics, you know. We need space. We need to speak ourselves. Being a Dalit woman, I know that we are direct victims of everything, of every evil that happens in the society. I know there'll be a lot of people who will be offended by what I'm speaking, but I'm speaking it on behalf of a Dalit feminist, on behalf of a Dalit woman. I know what we go through. I know how it feels when our space is given to an upper caste person. I know how it feels when this space is given to an upper caste feminist. An upper caste feminist who is not even aware of our issues. An upper caste feminist who doesn't even know how it feels to be discriminated against. you know. So when I was there, I was actually expecting a woman to take up the space. I was actually expecting कि कोई तो होगा जो ये बोलेगा कि let Dalit women speak. कोई तो होगा जिसको ये कंसर्न होगा कि दलित औरतें नहीं है, कोई होगा जिसे कंसर्न होगा कि दलित औरतों के साथ रेप हो रहा है और उनको अपना जस्टिस मांगने दो. सो हम मेन हैं, हमारे पास प्रिविलेज है, तो क्यों ना हम पीछे खड़े हो जाएं, क्यों ना हम उन्हें आगे कर दें और उन्हें बोलने दें कि तुम अपने लिए बोलो. तो जो लोग बोलते हैं कि हम तुम्हारी रक्षा करेंगे, तो उनको ये जानना बहुत जरूरी है कि हमारी रक्षा करने के लिए आपको ये कहना जरूरी है कि हम आदमियों को रोकेंगे. वी विल स्टॉप मेन. We will stop men from raping women. We will stop men from harassing women, and we will stop men from actually taking up our space. जब हम नहीं बोल पाते हैं तो हमारे पास वो प्रिविलेज नहीं है कि हम बोल पाए. आपका फर्ज बनता है कि आपको सोसाइटी ने वो जेंडर प्रिविलेज दिया है. सी, आई एम स्पीकिंग राइट नाउ फ्रॉम अ जेंडर पर्सपेक्टिव बिकॉज आई हैव बीन अ सर्वाइवर ऑफ जेंडर बेस्ड वायलेंस. So I know कि जो patriarchy है, it is not only among upper caste people. It is very well prevalent among low caste people also. So patriarchy के बारे में बात करने के लिए, and when we choose a party, जब हमें लगता है कि कोई पार्टी हमारे सपोर्ट में है, से दलित पॉलिटिक्स, दलित पॉलिटिशियंस, दलित पार्टीज अगर हमारे फेवर में है, तो क्या उन्हें इंक्लूसिव नहीं होना चाहिए? क्या हम किसी दलित पार्टी को सिर्फ इसलिए चूज कर लें क्योंकि वो दलित्स हैं, क्योंकि वो बहुजन्स हैं? हमें एक ऐसी दलित पार्टी चाहिए जो विमेन एक्सक्लूसिव हो, जो LGBTQ एक्सक्लूसिव हो और जो क्वेयर एक्सक्लूसिव हो, सॉरी इंक्लूसिव हो. हमें एक इंक्लूसिव पार्टी चाहिए जो हर किसी के इश्यूज के बारे में बात करती हो. हमें एक ऐसी पार्टी नहीं चाहिए जो वहां खड़े होके बोलती हो कि हमें बहनों के लिए न्याय चाहिए. हम बहनें हैं, हम बेटियां हैं, हमें न्याय चाहिए. हम भी तो तुम्हारे साथ प्रोटेस्ट में आ सकते थे, हम भी तो वहां गाड़ी पे चढ़ के बोल सकते थे. सो आई वांट टू मेंशन दैट आई वाज स्पीकिंग टू दिस वन पर्सन. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू मेंशन द नेम, बट सिंस दिस वीडियो इज क्वाइट वायरल ऑन ट्विटर, so people must be knowing who I'm talking about. I was talking to this one person. I was asking कि क्या आपका फर्ज नहीं बनता था कि अगर आप बहन के लिए न्याय मांगने आए हैं तो एक बहन को इस पूरी प्रोटेस्ट का फेस होना चाहिए था. तो दिस पर्सन सेड टू मी, ही लेजिट सेड टू मी कि कोई औरत कैसे मैनेज करेगी ऐसे गाड़ी के ऊपर चढ़ना. सो स्वरा भास्कर could manage, this one man could manage, but Dalit women cannot manage. Should we not question the very internal patriarchy जो हमारी पार्टीज के अंदर है? क्या हम एक और पार्टी को इलेक्ट कर लें सिर्फ ये सोच के कि हो सकता है ये दलित से, हो सकता है ये बहुजन से, तो हमारे लिए भला करेंगे, हमारे लिए सोचेंगे, जबकि मुझे गालियां पड़ रही हैं बिकॉज मैं इंटरनल पेट्रियार्की को क्वेश्चन कर रही हूँ. ये गालियां देने वाले लोग कौन हैं? ये गालियां देने वाले लोग तो हमारे बहुजन कम्युनिटी से ही बिलोंग करते हैं ना. सो दिस इज माई क्वेश्चन and I want to conclude it. I think I've said enough. So I want to conclude it with this. So yeah, patriarchy is very much there everywhere, among upper castes also, among low castes also.
Very well said, ma'am. Ma'am, the floor is with you, Sanya ma'am.
First of all, I would say listen to Shrishti and Anjali because they speak really well. Listen to other speakers in the Dalit community. Even Chick Maharani, Rishi is amazing. He knows about a lot of things. The thing that she said, patriarchy not only exists in patriarchy, घर में exist करती है. My thing is open up your, first of all, if you are a Dalit, speak up that you're a Dalit. Because जब आप बोलेंगे, आप accept करेंगे कि आप दलित हैं, आपके आसपास के 4 और दलित खड़े हो जाएंगे. And then together you can, छुपाओ मत. आप आज छुपाओगे, कल 4 लोग और छुपाएंगे आपकी देख देख कर. डरो मत. सेकेंडली, पेट्रियार्की घर में एग्जिस्ट करती है, माँ बाप में एग्जिस्ट करती है. कल अगर कोई लड़की, दलित लड़की बाहर जाती है पढ़ने और उसके साथ कुछ गलत हो जाता है किसी लड़के के साथ, उस लड़की को इतनी होनी चाहिए कि वो अपने घर वालों को बोल सके खुलकर, और उनके घर वालों को ये डर ना हो कि मेरी बदनामी हो जाएगी या मेरी लड़की की, और वो माँ बाप उस लड़की के साथ खड़े हुए. तो पेट्रियार्की इसमें भी एग्जिस्ट करती है कि बच्चियों के साथ कुछ हो जाता है स्कूल कॉलेजेस में और वो घर जाके बात करती नहीं है उसके बारे में, बिकॉज उनको ये डर रहे कि माँ को घर बुला लिया जाएगा, हमारी पढ़ाई बंद हो जाएगी या हमारी शादी नहीं होगी. प्लीज शादी की तो टेंशन करना मत, जब होनी है हो जाएगी, और शादी के लिए मरना भी मत, ऑनेस्टली. सो आई वुड से ओपन अप योर माइंड, स्टैंड अप फॉर योरसेल्फ. आप दलित हो, आप खड़े हो, छुपाओ मत. डरो मत, लड़ना है लड़ लो, किसी ने मारा पलट के मार दो उसको, एक बार मार खाओगे खुल जाओगे, लेकिन खड़े हो अपने राइट के लिए और पेट्रियार्की खत्म करो। और चमार मत बोलो, जोक में भी मत बोलो, ना मैं आके आपको मारूंगी।
Okay, so well, these are all the questions I had from my side, but our chat is quite filled, so we know that there are a lot of questions from the audience itself. So now we'll be doing a panelist audience question time round. So anybody who has a question may raise his or her hand, and we'll recognize that person to ask the question. You may ask the panelists a collective question, or simply direct it to one particular panelist.
Pratham just would like to tell you his, her, and their hands.
His, her, and their, yes. Yeah.
Anybody who has a question?
Okay, so we have Mukund's hand raised as of now. So Mukund, you can go ahead.
Right. Thank you. I hope you don't mind if I ask more than one question, guys. Firstly, I think this might be more of a clarification than an actual question. But previously, you mentioned you compared reservation to body shape, and you mentioned how body shape is in fact a choice. Now, I believe this might have been misquoted by you, but body shape is in fact not a choice, at least in my interpretation. You can choose to work upon it, sure, but you don't decide if you fat or thin. And in a lot of times, obesity and anorexism can't be cured. So
I'm not saying that it's a choice. It's not. I don't by choice I'm obese. Like I don't have those heredity things. It's not the choice thing. My thing is there are a lot of people who work towards getting thinner, and there are a lot of girls who enjoy the weight, enjoy the body type that they have. So I'm talking about those choices. I'm not talking about like by default biologically you're skinny or you're fat. I'm not talking about that. Obviously, I'm talking about the fact that there are some women who don't want to lose weight, who can lose weight, but they don't want to because they feel beautiful in the voluptuous body that they have. And again, that was the metaphor that I was using. I wasn't using the metaphor of being obese or like biologically like fat or thin or anorexic.
right, I understand that. That was why I asked. This is more of a clarification than an actual question, because
Sure,
I figured,
fair enough.
Right. So my next question again is to all three panelists. So, well, I agree with most of your points regarding the fact that we need coverage of these issues, as well as fallacies in the info, air quotations here, provided by law enforcement. I believe that the fact is that a lot of people, especially privileged teenagers, the ones falling in the same age group as students who run alphas, post about these incidents, and they try to raise awareness, again, air quotations here, for clout, and they aren't always sustainable. Like they post on private accounts, so other followers who sing the same stories on their mutual accounts see the same thing over and over again. So my main question here is, do you believe all publicity is good publicity? And if not, how do you propose to hold the responsible institutions accountable?
Can I take this? Yeah. Just to clarify, you asked that people who have private accounts, they share these stuff, so we are not reaching the ground. Is that what you asked?
Not exactly. So while what I'll rephrase it, they do when they post in private accounts, some people do happen to be enlightened upon new facts, but a lot of the stories that people see are repetitive in nature, because most people have mutuals with whom they've seen the same story. Because a lot of us, I can at least personally attest to the fact that I see the same stories over and over and over again.
Okay, so are you talking about how we are in an echo chamber and we just talk to each other and we are not talking to
I think I wasn't able to pose my question properly. My simple question here is that, do you believe that all publicity is good publicity? And if you don't believe so, how do you propose that we hold the responsible institutions accountable for their failures?
I'm a marketing student, so all publicity is good publicity, can work in marketing, but when it comes to ideologies, I don't know how all publicity can be good publicity. But I would like to take an example. Deepika Padukone visited JNU. A lot of people said that she did this because she was given money. I don't believe that, but let's just let's just say that I was told that she took 5 crores from this, I don't know, from 5 crores from some Islamic group, and that is why she went to JNU, which I don't think is true. But some people are taking that money and running propaganda. What she did was she stood up for the right thing. So I'm okay with that. So if that is publicity, I'm okay with that. Unless and until you're standing with the right thing, you're doing it for money or anything else, I don't care. As long as you are on my side. That's it.
Right. My second part to that question was, so you would believe that regarding this specific aspect, all publicity isn't good publicity, which is a justifiable answer. My second part to the question was, if not, then how do you propose we hold the responsible institutions accountable? The judiciary, the executive, the legislature, all three, and sub-institutions that fall under them.
Seriously, we don't have the social capital to do that. Again, I like to tell you an example. I got into legal trouble some months ago because I posted something. They did not tell me what legal trouble, but I was the only one who got that legal notice, and somebody else also got it. He's a 17-year-old boy, and he's also a Dalit. So that is when I realized that I don't have the social capital, because I came in contact with a lot of people who have got notices, but because they were linked to a certain political party, they were able to they did not face the law like I did. So that is when I realized that I don't have the social capital first. I think the only way to change the judiciary and everything is representation, a lot of representation, population-based representation. So if we constitute 70% of India, then our representation should be in that proportion. It should not be like 3% Brahmins are holding 90% of the posts. That cannot be like that. So my only solution to this problem is that we need more representation.
Right, great, thanks. Does any of the other panelists wish to answer this question as well? Or can I move on to my next one?
I just want to add on to this that, we need more representation, and we need more people to stand up for the cause. And just like she said, because Anjali was like that, give us also chance, like even the Bahujan Party and everybody, give other women a chance. We will get a chance, because if we can all stand up, when we need more people to represent this and talk about this. And it's come to my light only now that there are a lot of speakers talking, but which I had no idea about. So it's good to see, but yeah, we need more people to represent us for sure.
All right, that's great. Thanks. So I just have 2 more questions. I'm sorry, yeah, just bear with me. But my first question is that, a lot of what you said made sense in an idealistic way. But when we talk about actionable content here, I just want to ask, how do you propose that, we as teenagers, or at least, the only part of the population, one of the only part of the population that sees the government for what it is, how do you suggest that we take action or contribute to, circumventing the situation that, you've established quite clearly?
So this is where the problem lies. Like Anjali said, we are oppressed in 3 layers, and people come to us for the solutions. We are already struggling in our life. We are not here to provide you with solutions to whatever questions we asked. We are just trying to live our life and struggle and resist. So I don't think the onus lies on us to think how we are going to change the judiciary, because we don't have the social capital. We don't have the power to do that. We are just existing and just taking care that we don't die, we are not raped, we don't face acid attacks. that is our daily struggle. I don't think we have the bandwidth to think about how do we change the judiciary, but a very simple answer would be representation. That would be a very simple answer.
Right. All right. I understood your point. Thank you. So this will be my last question. So you guys quite passionately attack the patriarchy that's prevalent in India, which is understandable, of course. My only question here is: do you believe patriarchy is an institution or more of a social construct, an ideology? And if it's an ideology, how do you suggest we fight an ideology? Because for example, Nazism as a concept, as an ideology, still to this day has not been uprooted. So how do you propose that we uproot patriarchy, which is a prevalent social concept in India?
Yeah, I think I will take that question. When you talk about patriarchy in particular, I'm sorry, I'll have to correct you a little bit, because when we talk about patriarchy in context of India, it is never patriarchy. Caste always follows you. Okay, so when we talk about patriarchy, it is always caste based patriarchy. So in order to correct everything that has been wrong in this system, we have to unlearn everything. We have to make our men more sensitive. We have to question our system. We have to question the establishment. We have to question this machinery which is caste based, and we have to question every aspect of it which is suppressing women. So when we talk about this incident, people say that we could have saved that woman. No, you couldn't have saved that woman. You could have stopped that man. So we have to be very particular about what words we choose, because if you aren't choosing the right words, you are putting that onus about that woman, that she could have been saved if she would have been safer, if she could have taken precautions, if she could have been precautious. So men in particular have to unlearn all the bad things that they have learned till now. Men have to learn that this subtle violence, this subtle sexism that they practice at their homes have to be questioned. For instance, men have to participate in every small thing of their household. Men have to participate in everything that has ever been tagged as feminine. So until men question men of their segment, nothing is going to change. So patriarchy starts from men, and it is going to end from men. So yeah, I think this onus should be on men, because they started it, they need to end it. And I think there isn't much to say about what section of men should be responsible, because all men are responsible. To be honest about it, all men are responsible. It is very unfair to say that upper caste men perform more patriarchy and low caste men do not, because I have been a survivor of violence at my own home. I belong to a Dalit household, and I know how patriarchy is very ingrained in all the society, in all the sections, and how we need to make our men in certain position where they can choose to learn that all what they learned was wrong. They have to acknowledge, they have to address that what they know is wrong, and they have to understand that the slightest of problem that a woman talks about is a problem. A woman does not have to get raped. A woman does not have to face violence. A woman does not have to get slapped. A woman does not have to get touched in order for her problem to be big enough to be addressed. Even when a woman is saying that it is hurting me somewhere, it has to be a problem big enough for a man to be sensitive enough that a woman is in a problem. So every small bit of everything is a problem of patriarchy in particular. So yeah, this is all what I have to say about patriarchy. It is the whole responsibility is on men. You cannot ask women to end patriarchy. Women have always been fighting against it. Women have been fighting even when sati pratha was a normal practice. So you cannot say कि और तो तुम लड़ो. औरतें तो हमेशा से लड़ रही हैं. This is men's turn to do something.
Again,
Thank you so much, yeah.
you quoted the question as you three women have very passionately attacked patriarchy of the country. Let me tell you something. We as women have been attacked by patriarchy all our lives. So we are not attacking patriarchy anymore. We're just talking about it. We are addressing the issue now. Secondly, patriarchy, it's not only the men's issue. Patriarchy exists in every single household where there's a brother and a sister, and there is an extra over-loving mother or an over-caring mother. Have you ever heard the term mama's boy? Comes down to that. A lot of time mothers also become this very overprotected, like घर का लड़का है, ये मुझे आगे लेकर जाएगा. क्यों तुम्हारी बेटी नहीं लेके जा सकती? क्यों नहीं ले जा सकती तुम्हारी बेटी? जब घर का लड़का दारू पी के आता है तो लड़के को कोई कुछ नहीं बोलता, नहीं तो लड़का है तो ऐसे ही है. लड़की पीकर आएगी तो अब इसकी शादी करा दो, ये बिगड़ गई है. पेट्रियार्की हर उस घर में एग्जिस्ट करती है. ठीक है, तो हम पेट्रियार्की अटैक नहीं कर रहे हैं. In fact, high time when we should be attacking patriarchy. So that's where we are at.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you, Mukund, for your question. So
Yeah,
evidently
thank you.
we're running out of time, and we have time for just one more concise question. So Urja, I think you raised your hand. We'll take Urja's question, and Urja, please try to keep it concise.
Sure, okay. So I've noticed one thing about the schools that we go, and like these schools are actually like, you know, they're properly urbanized. And like in the books, in civics, I remember this one chapter in 8th or 7th grade. There was a pyramid of castes written in our book, and उसमें सबसे नीचे there was Dalit written over there. I want to know your take on this. I mean, I feel like they shouldn't have a table addressing what is on top, what is below that, and what is below that. I feel like they should address all of them equally. And this happened in my own school. I literally saw this in my book, and I was like, why are they doing this? Like, you know, they're saying that Brahmins are on top and Dalits are on like their niche. And I can literally see kids in my class saying कि, you know, oh मैं तो ब्राह्मण हूँ, oh मैं तो क्षत्रिय हूँ. Like I feel like there is a big problem because these are supposed to be urbanized school. Like, you know, like imagine if this is happening in the urbanized schools. In schools that are more towards the rural area, I can literally bet that ये उनकी books में तो होगा ही. And I feel like यहाँ पे this is where caste discrimination starts between kids. And if there is nothing done about it, they will also grow up to be a person who discriminates. So I want to know your take on this.
Can I start?
Yeah, of course, please.
Yeah. So basically, our civics book and everything did not teach us about caste, which is very weird because it's like saying in the USA, you are not teaching students about racism. It is inherent. It is like India is made upon Bahujan labor. That is how India is formed. You cannot not talk about caste. And Urja, I know from where you are coming, but that is the reality. That table is the reality. That table is the structure. And you said it starts from there. You think the caste or whatever. But no, that is the only thing which sensitized everybody a little bit about the structure. And it should be more in depth. There should be 2-3 more chapters about this, which obviously we know that they have removed it from the syllabus. But I don't think that, if anything, it only conceptualize the caste system in some ways so that people can study. I think it should be more in depth. And the table that we are talking about, it's the reality. And I don't think that starts casteism in schools. I think it's a very good topic. And if they are good Bahujan teachers, they would teach the same topic very efficiently and nicely. That is my point.
Or not, you should educate yourself and if there are group discussions happening, and if you notice anybody looking down upon the Dalits because it's underneath there, because I hope you understand that the caste system was divided with the profession that they did. It was Pandit, Purohits, Kshatriyas, the warriors, Vaishyas, the merchants, and then became the Shudras, which were the cleaners. So obviously we were looked down upon. If there's ever a group discussion, correct them. Be like, no, they are humans. So what if they are cleaning? If they are doing the clean, they are very much human beings. Chamde ka kaam karta hai, chamare to insaan nahi hai. So this is where you have to become more. And yes, it is important to study about these things. How will you fight about something when you don't have any knowledge about it? Just use it to your advantage and open up your mind.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, my point was that, like, it would be better if they didn't have to, like, put a whole table across, because I feel like, it would give the kids a better idea. And yeah, even if they do a word that involves shoes in it, and maybe it's not considered something as high as someone who's a businessman, someone needs to fix shoes. You won't be able to walk without shoes. So that itself is a very big job. It shouldn't be looked down upon.
Pooja, I'm so sorry, but we're very much running out of time. It's just one or a couple of minutes till this meeting ends. So I'll just like to end this discussion on a note that I would like to say thank you to all three of our panelists and the entire audience present here, actually. And I'll say that today I learned things and I got to know about things from the grassroots levels from the three of you that I had no idea about them. And I am so happy that I got to learn from this session. And I hope that my colleagues and all of the audience members as well go home as I will be logging off today, and with more knowledge of learning and learning both. I hope everybody got the same from here, and I hope that our panelists loved explaining it to us.
It was a lot of fun, and it was insightful for me as well, because I'm going to follow Srishti and Anjali on a daily basis, not like
Thank you so much. Really, thank you to the three of you. This was amazing, and Alfaz, thanks you with the bottom of our hearts.
I would like to add on to that. Thank you so much from all of us, Team Alfaz and our audience. And I'm so sorry that we're running short on time. I did not expect the discussion to go on for so long, but I'm glad it did. So yes, thank you so much.